Hey everyone, my name is Andrew and I'm currently a second year economics major here at UCSB. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the economics pre-major, and I'll include prerequisites and requirements needed to finish the pre-major, as well as a review on every class that I've taken at the pre-major, what to do after you finish the pre-major classes, and finally some tips to help you succeed. So to start off, I'm going to give you an overview of the economics pre-major using the econ major sheet as well as the study plan. And I'm going to link all the documents and resources that I mentioned in this video in the description, so be sure to check them out. And starting with the major sheet. So this document gives you all the information needed about the econ pre-major. So in summary, you're going to need to complete econ 1, econ 2, econ 10A, econ 5, a math series, so either the 2, 3, or 34, and you can't get lower than a C in any of these classes. And your grades for your pre-major courses must average at least a 2.85. However, on my Econ 5 syllabus, they just implemented this new policy. It says through spring 2023, so I'm unsure if it'll continue, but from this screenshot, you can see that they'll actually factor in your Econ 5 grade into calculating the 2.85 pre-major GPA, but the major sheet says that they won't. So again, I don't know if they'll extend it past spring 2023, but it's something to take note of. Another resource is the suggested plan of study document, where UCSB outlines its suggested times to take certain courses, and you definitely don't need to follow this. Remember, college is your own journey, and what someone else does might not work for you. And so with that being said, I will be giving my own opinion on when to take certain pre-major courses. For your first quarter, I would definitely recommend to take one of the math classes. And during freshman orientation for pre-econ majors, they'll tell you not to take econ 1 first quarter. And I'm pretty sure they do this just so you can get a quarter to get used to the quarter system before you actually engage in any pre-major courses that will affect your major admittance. And with that being said, I did have a friend who decided to take econ 1 first quarter anyways, and it turned out fine. In my personal opinion, I would follow the suggested plan and take econ 1 in winter quarter, just so you can get used to the quarter system, mainly because it truly is kind of fast and you're going to need time to adjust. Take it along with the second math class if you still have another math class to fulfill the requirement. So as the sheet says, you need to fulfill an A and a B. And so if you took A in your first quarter, like I said, then I would recommend taking the B in the second quarter along with econ 1. And then after that, take econ 2 in spring quarter. And then that'll wrap up your first year. In your second year, I suggest taking econ 10A in the fall quarter instead of econ 5. And I've heard that econ 10A is actually easier in the fall. I'm not exactly sure if this is true since I took it in winter, and I've done the practice tests from fall and they're not very different in my opinion. So my reasoning for taking econ 10 in the fall is that it's widely known to be the hardest pre-major class, and it's dubbed the weeder class. And because of this, if you have to fail it and retake it, you can do that in winter. Because if you try to take it in winter, you have to wait until summer or next year to retake it because it usually isn't offered in spring. And then once you complete econ 10, then I would take econ 5 in the winter quarter, and assuming you meet all the GPA requirements, then you made it into the major. And so for the next section of this video, I'm going to break down each class and give my opinions on them. So starting off with the math series, I took the Math 34 series, and since I had an AP Calc AB credit from high school, I didn't need to take Math 34A, so I just went directly into 34B. And amongst all the math series, 34 is the easiest. The downside to the 34 series is that if you decide to change majors later on, you're probably going to have to take another math series. So if you plan to possibly change majors, the 3 or 4 series is more widely accepted from other majors. However, if you're like me and know that econ is the path that you're going to take, I would take the 34 series. 34B was incredibly easy and actually covered less material than Calc AB from my high school. And so if you did well in high school calculus, I'm sure that you'll do well in this class. And so the grading consisted of homework on a site called WebWork, and there you have unlimited attempts on your homework. And in section, you had weekly quizzes. I think we had 2 midterms and 1 final. And so it also followed the standard UCSB grading scale. The next class I want to talk about is Econ 1. So this is your first economics class at UCSB. Econ 1 covers microeconomics, and it's a fairly easy class as well. I took half a semester of economics in high school, which didn't go super in-depth into any material really, and I was still able to do well in this class. And so no experience or prior knowledge is really necessary, and it also follows a standard grading scale. Moving on to Econ 2. This was a class that I absolutely hated. So Econ 2 is going to be your macroeconomics class. Now, you might enjoy and understand macroeconomics better than me, and if you do, then that's definitely great for you, and you'll definitely do a lot better than me. But this was the lowest grade I've ever gotten so far in college. It's graded on a curve, so what that means is your raw score doesn't really matter. What matters is how that score ranks within the rest of the class. So typically the top 8 or 9% get an A, the top 18% or so get an A minus or better, and that includes the 8 or 9% who get an A. So around another 9% will get an A minus, and the percentages just keep going on from there. But basically, you're just competing against the other students in your class. The concepts for me were pretty super overwhelming, and a lot of the information is really thrown at you quickly and all at once, and it was quite a turn from Econ 1. So I would definitely study hard for this class and don't slack off. Now it's time to talk about the infamous Econ 10A. So, like I mentioned before, this is widely known to be the hardest econ pre-major class at UCSB, and even the grading scale is adjusted to reflect that fact. While it's not graded on a curve like Econ 2 is, the percentage required for an A is less than a standard grading scale. And so an 87 or above is an A, whereas usually it's like a 93. And I give you this information to sort of let you know what scores to expect when you do take this class. So this class covers microeconomic theory. It's a lot of calculus and math heavy. So you'll be dealing with a lot of derivatives, maximums, and minimums. For me, I somewhat enjoy math, and calculus is something that I've done a lot and I'm used to it, so this course wasn't the hardest for me. For me personally, it was actually easier than Econ 2. Even so, you still need to connect the math part to the logic behind the equations and the techniques, and so I definitely advise you to study really hard for this class and do lots of practice problems and practice exams. Grading consisted of around 6 modules with unlimited attempts per question. You have quizzes after every lecture that aren't worth a lot, but definitely still do your best and attend the lecture and try to understand the material. You have 2 midterms and then 1 final. You can skip the midterms, but the percentage of the midterms will roll over onto your final, so your final will be worth more than before. Each week, you also get a problem set that isn't graded, but your TA will go over the answers during section, and I highly recommend that you do these. Key thing to note, this is a 5-unit course, so the grade will weigh heavier on your GPA than Econ 1 and 2, which are both 4-unit courses. And then the last class is Econ 5, so this is your statistics class for economics. It's another 5-unit course, so it will definitely really help or really hurt your GPA. For me, the class consisted of 3 recorded lectures with a lecture quiz after each one, just like Econ 10. You have 1 Excel project per week, 1 module per week, which is full credit as long as you get at least a 12 out of 15. You have 1 midterm, which you can skip, but just like Econ 10, the percentage will roll over onto your final, and then you have 1 final. Same as Econ 10, there are weekly problem sets that aren't graded, but I recommend you do them anyways. Overall, the class wasn't too hard. I took AP Stats in high school, and the material covered here was pretty much exactly the same. Definitely don't underestimate it though. And so hopefully you pass all your classes and meet the required GPA. And so this is what to do after you finish your classes. So the process actually starts in the same quarter that you're taking your last course for the pre-major. So before week 10, you must submit a change of major sheet to fully declare yourself as an econ major. It's a really quick and easy process. And after you fill it out online, you just email it to the economics department and they'll process it from there. Once you finish your last class for the pre-major, they'll calculate if you meet all the standards and then they'll let you know if you're in the major. Once you're in the major, you'll be approved for certain classes, and then you can start taking them the next quarter. So now some tips about the econ major. For me, my 2 biggest pieces of advice are go to CLAS and do lots of practice problems, especially with Econ 10. So the econ department gives you lots of practice midterms and finals for you to do practice. The best way to learn is through actually doing them and making mistakes. Econ 10 gives you at least 15 practice midterms and finals, and I recommend you do every single one of them. The other thing I talked about was CLAS, and so CLAS is a free tutoring service from UCSB. It has limited spots, and you need to sign up for it beforehand. And make sure you find the time that the portal opens up and sign up quickly before spots fill up, because they will fill up. If you don't understand what's going on in lecture, then this is definitely great to get clarification in a smaller classroom, and it will also be easier to ask questions. With all that being said, I hope you found this video informative and it gave you more insight into what the pre-major portion of the econ major at UCSB will be like. I'll probably make a video at the end of my time at UCSB reviewing the major as a whole, and so if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment any other questions you may have either about the econ department or just UCSB in general, and subscribe for more content like vlogs and information about college life. In the background of this video, I've been putting up some clips from another video I'm going to make, which is a week in my life as a UCSB student, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that. And let me know what other videos you'd like to see from me. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.